I don't think my grandfather was a very forgiving man.
Well, I think
And
it probably depended a lot on the situation. I think forgiving as far as what happened to his own mother, I think that would be fairly difficult, especially when you're a 15-year-old boy. I think that
Yeah.
would make an indelible mark in your life.
now this is something that has never, ever been discussed
At least,
with my parents.
I think it's from your father, it was never discussed. I don't think, I'm
His
gonna.
brothers and sisters discussed it.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's more to the story that we'll be able to get by me talking to this woman that lives around the corner from you. Because I think it wasn't as, maybe, I think the brunt of the, his father was not happy with his son because his son called him on it, or took it more personally than maybe the rest of the children. And it wasn't that, well, I've seen it happen in other people, where a father who is almost a hero figure destroys a family. And if the boy is a certain age, it nearly destroys the boy. Because what he thought his father was is now not what his father is.
Well, and the brothers and sisters were very resentful of my mother because they thought it was her fault. But I am an illegitimate child.
Right. Well, no. She was 5 months pregnant when they got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And so I see. So Grandpa's siblings thought that his grandma was
A
that
skirt
my
or a
dad-
chaser.
yeah.
that my dad
Was trapped
done.
into.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And they went home and lived with my grandparents, and my grandpa would say to my dad, "Come on, you have to eat. Costs you just the same."
Hmm.
You lived with not his family, but Grandma's family,
Absolutely.
because they would have been resentful.
Well, no, wait a minute. Where'd that little piece,
It's right
the
here.
Lucia almond piece? Because they do go to the Cutler. Let's see. With their little daughter, this is, okay. Your mom and dad. They began life together in Soldier Summit, but returned to Linden,
That's
where
the
their
name of
daughter,
it. It's Soldier Summit, which is just outside of Price.
Flora Bell was born. With their little daughter, they went to Shelley, Idaho, and cared for the Cutler family home and dairy, while Orville's mother was called away to help other family members.
So they did go to the Cutlers for a time.
But maybe,
Just while the.
well,
while
who
his
knows
mother-
where the dad was?
Well, I think he's gone by then.
Oh,
You see,
okay.
I think
Yeah.
he goes and has another life entirely
Right,
separate from his wife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they're ever divorced, but I think they live a separate life.
Right.
And
Anyway.
And they thought Robin wasn't here, or you weren't here, but the family considered my grandma an angel, Grandma Cutler.
mm-hmm.
She just did everything for everybody, wherever. And that she was so sweet.
Isn't that wonderful? I think she's She's probably very deserving of that. Yeah. Minda Minerva.
Minda Minerva. That's a hard saddle to put on
I was going to
anybody.
say, that's quite a name, Minda Minerva. Maybe they called her Mindy.
I don't know. It
No,
doesn't,
I
he didn't
doubt
say
it.
that in a little
Yeah,
story.
no, I doubt it. That would be way too.
I was telling Robin, Minda Minerva and her sister, Minda Minerva and her sister Vanessa,
Her younger sister. She's about 7 years younger than
yeah, lived in those dinky little apartments behind the temple
when they were older,
and did temple work.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, then
Walked to the temple every day.
she didn't die of a broken heart.
She died of a flu,
Ah.
I think, in 1929.
So really quite a long time after the breakup of her marriage. So it wasn't like it was an immediate. I'm sure she wasn't ever, that hole in her heart never healed. I mean, she didn't ever say, "Goody, I'm sure glad that happened to me." I lived this life of the doctor, the doctor's wife, and had such a great time.
Hi.
Hi.
I brought you another medicine.
She never gets tired. Gosh, now what am I taking?
It's your dexamethasone.
Now, you gotta
Mom,
make
why
sure
are you doing that in your hand, Mom? Keep it in the cup.
So I can get you girls all riled up.
Well, that does it. See, it just goes in so easy when you do it that way.
This is your brain medicine.
What do they call that stuff that they're always trying to
Okay.
promote?
Okay.
Brain power,
Thank you.
some kind of.
Well, I'd like to say
Berber.
thanks to you, but I don't think I will.
5 stars.
Unless I get up and dance.
I wonder if they were doing family names or if they were just doing names.
The sisters doing
Mhm.
temple work? Well, maybe they worked in the temple. Maybe they were temple workers.
They were.
Very nice. Well, just think, we've walked those same halls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I gave a stack of genealogy to Buddy Rose years ago.
Oh, I'm sure it's...
That these sisters
Oh.
and the aunts,
Mm-hmm.
Gladys
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Hortense, had done this work.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't get the papers back?
Oh, no.
Well, that's all right, because it's on the IGI, Mom.
I'm sure it
So
is.
all we have to do is print it, and we may not have it in their handwriting, but the records
It's
of the
done.
church are there. And so we don't have to worry about those actual. It'd be nice. It would have been nice to look at, but
Yeah,
it's all right.
because Aunt Gladys had beautiful handwriting.
Well, I'm not sure it's
She
lost.
sang in
I
the
think it's
I
lost.
don't know.
she sang in the choir.
She did.
So did her sister Hortense.
Did Grandpa have a nice voice?
Of course.
Oh.
He did. He had a beautiful voice. Tenor.
Oh. I
Who
didn't know that.
Well, he sang in church.
We didn't go to church with him, Mom.
Heathens.
Huh?
Heathens.
Oh no! Actually, on Sundays, do you remember
What?
being at their house on
Well, it would
Sundays?
have been probably after church or between church or...
No,
Yeah,
when
I
you
don't-
stayed when we
Oh.
stayed overnight.
No,
Didn't,
I don't
you don't
remember.
remember?
I was little.
Yeah. No, we'd go to church, but it was. I don't know that they made me go to sacrament meeting. I think we probably went to Sunday school and called that good, and we had gone to church that day.
Yeah.
That was plenty.
Uh-huh.
But he was a stake missionary, I remember. He and Grandma were stake missionaries.
That's right.
I remember him wearing a little tag and all of that, so.
But they were proud of that.
Well, let's go back to Grandma Lucia. was born in Canada. And you don't remember how long they lived there, but I'm
15
sure.
months.
Oh, it was only 15 months.
It's on that paper.
Yeah. Okay. So they weren't there only a year and a half, and then they came back.
Well,
So
he'd lost everything by then.
So, let's see. What else do you remember about, any stories about your mother?
About when she was little.
Yeah, any games she liked to play or...
Oh, I think they played dollies a lot that they had made, that my grandma had made. And on the farm, you know, you played all kinds of games, and they had horse races. You know, every afternoon you had to go herd the cows, get them back in the barn.
And did she milk the cows?
You bet. Strain the cream, store it in the milk house that was a cement block that had cool water running under it to keep it until the truck came to pick it up. They had those big cans, you know, that they filled, and they would come pick it up in their truck. By the time they had a truck. Yeah.
Any particular subject she liked in school that you know of?
She rode her horse to school.
That's cool.
And it was that hill that would have gone up in Pleasant Grove.
Mm-hmm.
And in the wintertime, her mother wrapped her horse's nose in a scarf. And she wrapped her head in a scarf. Yeah. And rode her horse. And in the summer or spring, she would race home from school, run out and pick a bucket of raspberries, pour cream, and that was her snack. She went to Henniger's.
Yep, Stephen Henniger's business school.
Yep,
In Salt Lake.
right. She lived with a Jewish family.
Something, something. Interesting, of all the LDS people that lived in Salt Lake, that she lived with a Jewish family.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they were taking boarders,
I'm sure they were.
making a little money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that must have been quite the experience.
To come from the farm and live, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about such a different culture
Mm-hmm.
than she'd ever have been exposed to.
Absolutely.
If they were practicing Jews,
We don't know.
if they were just Jews that
Mm-hmm.
hung out at Salt Lake, then that's a whole different ballgame. But
Well, and then when I got into junior high, maybe not even junior high, just going to school, I worked for a family. He was Jewish. His name was Roselle. And he operated the station across from the Greek church. It was was a gas station garage thing. And I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. And I babysat those children. There were two, a boy and a girl. She was a nurse, and they lived a different lifestyle. She was LDS, but I don't know how much, because she sent her children to church with her mother-in-law, who was...
Wouldn't her mother-in-law have been Jewish?
I'm trying to think of the song that they sang. Something of men, leaders of men. It's typical of that religion.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's really different. They were good to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
What was Grandma studying at Stephen Henniger's?
Shorthand, typing.
And did she ever get a job using those skills? Or?
I don't know.
Well, when was she involved with dramatic speaking? Was that in high school or?
When they were in Idaho.
So she was married when that happened?
Mhm. They had good times. Put on those little plays and sang.
Were you old enough to watch this, or did you just hear about it?
Heard about
Okay, so you weren't old enough to. You weren't old. You maybe were just an infant, or maybe not even born yet.
it. Oh yeah, I was born and I was probably 3.
Hmm?
Oh,
Because
this
my
says
brother was born in Idaho.
Uh-huh.
this says she attended the Linden School and Pleasant Grove High School and was active in dramatics and public speaking. So I guess she got involved in high school then.
Well, the whole family was.
Uh-huh.
My grandfather had a keen sense of humor, and he could perform right along with them.
Then we've inherited these traits by just blood. And certainly Robin's family
What?
has inherited that through her too.
Well, you all are not a bunch of slouches.
Oh, I don't. Yes, that's true, Mother. True. I was very glad that Cal was not there last night because the stake president goes from person to person to person in a presidency to get our feelings on this and that and the other, and I was very glad that he wasn't there because I could really tell him what I thought. And it turned out just fine. Anyway,
And your dad, was a real ham.
mhm.
Right.
Played in all the high school plays and sang
Hmm?
Sounds like they're sanding. Maybe gonna fill holes like this and paint them or something.
all morning.
Hmm.
They start a little after 6.
Oh, good. That gets you up in the morning.
Mhm.
You bet.
So anyway,
Okay, anyway, so Grandma went to Stephen Henniger's business school and lived with this Jewish family and learned shorthand and typing skills. And do you know how long she was there? I guess it doesn't matter. It's probably in that history.
it isn't in that history.
Oh, okay. And somehow she met Grandpa at this dance in where's Rick's College? What's the name of that city? Pocatello?
Rexburg.
Oh, well, whatever. Rexburg. Somehow she's in Salt Lake and at probably about 18 at that point. Well, how old was she when she got married?
Well, I was,
Born in 1921.
yeah.
Or
she-
23.
She was 20, I think,
We'll look it up
when
and see.
she was married.
She was
Because there's-
20?
They got
20
married
years.
they got married in 1923, and she
Mhm.
was born in 1903.
Mm-hmm.
So she was
20
just
years
shy of being
difference.
20 when she got
Mhm.
married, because her birthday
So,
wouldn't have been
yeah,
till
she
July.
maybe went to a year of whatever, business school. And then somehow she's in Rexburg, Idaho to meet Grandpa. Did she know someone there? Does it say why she was there?
Well, the family lived there,
What family?
the Cutlers.
I know, but
The Allreds. Where?
why is she up there
I
to...
don't know, maybe, well, it would be a drawing card because there would be all those young people, college kids.
That's a long way from... There's a lot of college kids in Salt Lake. They got the University of Utah right there, and
Yeah.
you've got BYU down here, and
I
there's...
have no idea.
So somehow or other, she ended up going to a dance in Rexburg, and met
Grandpa.
Grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
and they
I'm
fell
sure
in
I
love.
Uncle Ed
can't
was there.
wait to
Who-
find out these
Who was
stories.
there?
Uncle Ed,
Uncle Ed
because
was
he
there.
probably was in charge.
Of the dance.
Yeah.
Would there be a reason for that, or was he the president of the student body, or?
I have no idea. He was very active and that was his field,
Was what, dance?
education.
Oh.
And he would have been, especially if there was a couple of pennies involved, because he had a family. And he would have been, you know, overseeing like our church dances.
Maybe chaperoning or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah. He was, when they moved to Payson, Uncle Ed and his family moved to Payson, he was in charge of the 4-H club.
I'm sure any of those children could have been. They were raised on a farm.
Mhm.
They knew all about farm animals.
Mm-hmm.
So did Grandma ever say anything about meeting him at the dance?
Never mentioned
Okay.
in our home. Mm-mm.
Well, there was probably some scandal, and
Yeah.
they
it's-
probably just didn't discuss it.
Yeah, I just
They made a big thing about it.
left
Hurt feelings.
Yeah.
those kind of things just kind of get just left not to be discussed again.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, Grandpa had a lot of those in his life, where he just had to let things shut the door and move on.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay, so anything else in the young part of your mother's life that you can remember? Or did she sing to you? Did she like to sing to you as a child, or?
Bet. We all
Okay.
sang in our house.
Uncle Kay liked to just join right in and sing?
Uncle Kay used to play the guitar.
When he was a little kid?
Let me tell you, that's quite an interesting thing.
Okay.
In Salt Lake, he took guitar lessons. We moved to California. I took piano lessons. I took from a Catholic nun.
Well, Mom, it's not that you didn't. That was nice. You got exposed to a lot of different cultures in a very
Yeah.
narrow
Yeah.
society. Salt Lake would have been so LDS, and you worked for a Jewish man. You took piano lessons from a Catholic nun.
Yeah. Used to climb that hill. I think it was on whatever that Catholic church is.
The
up
Cathedral
down
of the Madeleine.
there. No, that's on Second
Oh.
South.
So, some other Catholic church?
Oh, yeah, they've got them
Yeah.
all over. There's more churches downtown than
I
you can
know,
shake
I
a
know.
stick at. Baptist, Episcopalian, Lutheran, got
Yeah.
them all.
Now, what was I going to tell
Uncle Kay
Took
Took-
guitar lessons.
you? Oh, took guitar lessons.
lessons.
Then we moved to California, and he was still interested in music, so he took guitar lessons. And the man that gave him guitar lessons is the man that baptized your father.
Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
That is more than.
And
It's a small world.
his wife was Relief Society president, ugly as a mud fence, sweet as a doll,
Oh, that's good.
and
Gives us hope.
and he and his missionary companion just kept coming over, and your dad for years wouldn't turn off the volume on the fights or the
Did he
football
realize
game.
that this man was the one? I mean, did you recognize him? Did you say, "Oh, I know you. You're the one
Absolutely.
that gave my brother guitar lessons"?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
absolutely.
Because sometimes we don't read. Our siblings, we
Yeah.
don't keep track of what their people look like. We've got our own things we're worrying about. We don't.
Right.
Do you remember his name?
Cliff.
Was his first name or last name?
That was his first name, I think.
Oh, Uncle Kay probably remembers.
I'm
Or
sure he
it's
does.
on Dad's baptism record.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Could we look?
But I thought that was always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's for you. Ring, ring.
Hello. Hello, Rossi. How are
That's
you?
Strong. Hello. All right. Put it on pause.
Better today.